Okay, Monday, May 2nd, it is 4:53 p.m. Check this out.
Um, what you have are early European accounts.
Let me back it up a bit.
Goes back so far. So, for
It
instance,
goes back to 14.
and we started talking. Prior we kind of mentioned the fact that so many Europeans like to call it culture, but the reality is there was a very symbiotic relationship in the world. So I would say that there's probably a much better understanding of the natural world here in the Americas than anywhere else in the world. In fact, I would actually argue that America was Eden before Europeans came and took it over. You don't have any disease here. You have a perfect amino acid in corn, beans, and squash. And yeah, you have warfare, but beyond that, you basically have a perfect symbiotic relationship with the environment. And it's just a wondrous place. I would love to have seen it. But a little off topic. So back to the original question. In addition to folklore and oral traditions, what you have are early European accounts, and that would be De Soto narratives. One of the best are the government agents that actually dictated notes of what they saw. But then in the 1600s, you have Alexander Long document, and you can find that online. But the original is at the Gilcrease Museum in Tulsa, and that was descriptions with the Cherokee people, where he wrote down their religious practices, instances of what eclipses mean, and the underwater serpent, and all these supernatural characters. But then you have William Bartram and his conversations with the Muskogee people, conversations with the Natchez, the Choctaw. You have the Codex Canadiensis, which you can find online as well, which is a French Jesuit priest named Louis Nichols, who was in Canada in the late 1600s, and he wrote down notes of interactions he had, conversations he had. Marquette did the same thing. So, yeah, a lot of this information has been recorded. Now you have to sift through some of it, because a lot of times what you find is people in a new environment and not really understanding what they're saying. Also, translations errors, and so that's probably why you see subtle differences in descriptions. But once you weed through a lot of that, there's a really clear understanding of a general concept that permeated the religious world here. And there are subtle differences based off landscape and need, but for the most part, there is a very common ideology, and that is translated through folklore or oral traditions today, folklore, and early European documentation actions with indigenous people. And that continued all the way up into George Catlin. And so he described the Okipa ceremony, and to a very good, the best he really could have. As unbiased as anyone truly could have been in certain situations. So yeah, whole lot of primary sources. I mean, one of the things.
Okay, so basically, in the very beginning, it's really simple. Okay? He said that the Americas was basically, technically even, the Garden of Eden. If you go off and look at geology, you will see that North America is supposedly the eldest of the continents, of the existing continents that we have in modern day, according to the globist theory. And that's because in Canada, geologically speaking, they found the most oldest rock there that had protruded from the receding ocean. This is all geological, historical crap that's mainstream, that they themselves admit. Okay. Now, in Arizona, throughout California, the Southwest is a great example. So you have all these weird large bones, and then you have these weird large structures, which all imply that there was like a big forest with large trees and large vegetation, large mushrooms, okay, and large reptiles, large fowls or birds or whatever you may would have called them back then, and you see the evidence is just overwhelming to the point where like wait, what do you mean those mountains may be actually living beings that are petrified? It is way out. Okay, it is way out. And right now, biogeology is just destroying a lot of what old school mainstream geology has said. Wow, you guys should all take an interest in this, because who we are and why we're here, like, totally overrides looking up at the sky and saying, oh, we could have probably came from up there. Like, nah. We've been here for the longest. How's about, like, let's stop looking at the skies and try to figure out what the hell's going on where we're at. Because there is some weird stuff. And people that have gone deep into the waters of the ocean, you see real aliens. Real, like, life aliens. And people are like, no, looking at the sky, like, I wonder what they look. Fuck the sky, man. For reals. My bad on the language, but oh my God, forget about the sky. Look into the oceans, look around you. Wow, everything is a lot weirder than what we are led to believe, because it just destroys everything that they've taught us. The whole petrodollar system is coming to an end. Everything is unraveling. That includes the indoctrination. Everyone needs to comprehend that the socioeconomic system is based on the indoctrination of the young. You cannot force a big city or a large state or a large nation to go along with an agenda if they have not been brainwashed as children to go ahead and accept these beliefs and these belief systems and these rites of passages and these stories and these, like, it just goes on and on. But this, you know what, this Dr. Eric Singleton, I was like, yeah, I don't want to see this shit. Like, look at his name. It looks like he's like totally like biased. But after listening to all this, I was like, I felt so stupid. I felt derp. Okay, I derped myself today. This is why I'm making this video, because everyone needs to check themselves and listen to everything that everyone has to say all the way through the end. And this video right here is a prime example. And yeah, go ahead and look into this petrified mushrooms. And I'm not talking even about the trees, just the petrified mushrooms alone, because the big trees, they're like, no, that's a mesa, no, that's Devil's Tower, they're like, oh no, that's a volcanic anomaly, or blah blah blah. That's all debatable. But the petrified mushrooms, there's no debating that. Okay? On top of that, you have the quartz and gold. Okay, you have petrified quartz from small petrified trees that match the exact same, similar observable structures as large quartz that comes from a petrified area, or should I say a stone area. And the similarities are just so mind-boggling. You're like, it makes you, because here's where you like, okay, your imagination is leading one way, because there is no way of proving this. But it is so strong. It is unlike anything else. The evidence is tangible. You could touch it. You could see it. You could go hunting for it. Everyone's doing it. I suggest everyone get out your couch. Take off that COVID mask. Do you guys even science, bro?